Hello everyone, my name is Mike, and this is The Bored Cyborg. Welcome back to yet another What's in the Bag episode. Today I've got a little bit of everything. One VHS, one video game, some DVDs, a big stack of Blu-rays, and a couple books or graphic novels. I'm excited to get into this pickup video, but I'm wondering what you guys have picked up over the last couple weeks, so feel free to leave that down in the comments below. You know, I always enjoy reading what you guys have picked up, and some of the finds that you guys have are incredible, and I get kind of jelly but it is what it is. You're in the right place at the right time sometimes, and that's what this is all about. So let's dig right in to my pickups for the last few weeks. First up, a VHS. The Blades 2. I have a series that I'm going to be starting soon on the channel. I'm not going to say what it is, but I will say it involves films like this. This is The Birds 2 Land's End on VHS. This is actually a pricey VHS. I found it for $0.25 at the flea market. And because it's not on DVD or anything like that, I don't think. So, The Birds 2 on VHS. That's right. This film exists. I'm going to get the game out of the way. This is a Wii game. The Price is Right. I'm a sucker for all these Wii game show games like Family Feud, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and Press Your Luck. I don't know. They're just fun to play with family. We play these all the time around Christmas time when my family sort of gets together. And they're just fun. What can I say? That is Price is Right on the Wii. I'm going to knock out the DVDs here. There is some sort of semblance to today's What's in the Bag. This is a South Korean film by Park Chan-wook, or Chan-wook Park, called JSA, Joint Security Area. I believe Wook Park did this before Old Boy. I want to say this film is from like the year 2000. I've not seen this, to be quite honest, but it's a crime film. A crime thriller with some action elements, as far as I understand. My boy Kang Ho Song is in it, so this is one of his earliest performances, going 21 years ago, or 20 years ago now. So I'm looking forward to checking out JSA, Joint Security Area. Now, I picked this up in this small town I was in when my sister was visiting, and this was at some thrift shop, and it had a few of these South Korean releases. I think they all came in a box set of some sort. I wish the box set was there, but I did pick up a couple of these. Or no, you know what? I think this was the only one that I ended up picking up. So, JSA. Same trip. I was with my sister in this small town in North Carolina, just sort of visiting, hitting up the thrift shops, pawn shops, and stuff. And that is The Frozen Dead. I was really excited to walk into this in the wild. I mean, this is an archive release of a horror film from the 70s. I don't know if it was a TV horror film from the 70s. Or no, it's 60s. Sorry, it's 66. I don't know any of the names here. Dana Andrews, Anna Paulk, written, produced, and directed by Herbert Leder. I know that name. I'm sure he's done something I've seen. But yeah, this is pretty cool. The Frozen Dead. I know nothing about this. Awesome. Oh man, I showed this off on my Instagram recently. The Warrior and the Sorceress. This came into the bookstore, and I snagged it up for a couple bucks. David Carradine in a high fantasy cheese fest, I'm presuming. I don't think this was... Oh, John Broderick. Okay, directed this. I've heard of him. This is going to be a shit show, and I can't wait. I love fantasy flicks from the 80s. Deathstalker, Beastmaster movies, you know, just anything like this. Just so cool. It reminds me, actually, I'm going to show you guys, Princess Warrior. Look at this DVD. One of the first DVDs I ever got in like the late 90s. Princess Warrior. My father got this. Look at that. I love this kind of shit. This is from the early 90s, and it's not quite the same thing as this. This is more erotic, I think, but it reminded me of it. So there you go. Next up, another archive collection, Berlin Express. This is actually, I picked this up because it's an archive, and because it was directed by the director of Cat People, Jacques Tourneur. I'm trying to pronounce his name properly, but I don't know much about this, but it's an archive directed by the guy who did Cat People. I'm in. All right, quick story with this one. You guys have heard this story before. I guess I don't even need to share it anymore, but it excites me, so hopefully it excites you. I found a copy of Mind Ripper on DVD. I forget where. A few weeks back at like a couple months back actually at a pawn shop or something. Sold the DVD of Mind Ripper, which is also known as The Hills Have Eyes 3. I believe it was directed by Wes Craven's son. And I picked up this 88 Films Blu-ray. I think Code Red also put a Blu-ray out, but it's much more expensive than this Code Red one, which I got for really cheap, especially after selling my DVD. I spent like $1 or $2 on this. So Wes Craven, I think, produced this for his... I thought his son... Oh, his son wrote it, Jonathan Craven. But Wes did produce this one, and it's sort of a loose sequel to the Hills Have Eyes movies. Hills Have Eyes 3, a lot of people call this. Not supposed to be very good, but it has Lance Henriksen, and it can't be that bad, right? Months back I sold, it took me a while to show this off, months back I sold my Marx Brothers collection on DVD to fund this Blu-ray collection, which was really cheap, like $15 I think it was, so I made money on this. This one has the Coconuts, or Animal Crackers, Monkey Business, Horse Feathers, Duck Soup. The only Marx Brothers film that I've seen is Duck Soup. But I love Duck Soup, and I've seen a lot of their shorts and their little bits here and there, but Duck Soup was my introduction to the Marx Brothers years ago, and it left an impression. It was so quick and witty and funny. Groucho was just a genius. I mean, I had to rewind it a few times because I was missing jokes. The jokes were too densely packed into this 80-minute satirical war comedy. And I love what the Marx Brothers were doing at this time, and I can't wait to dig into more of their work. And that was part of the reason why I was holding off, because I wanted them on Blu-ray. Finally got them on Blu-ray. Very grateful, very happy. The Marx Brothers Silver Screen Collection. Showed this off on my Instagram as well, Electric Glide in Blue. In my most recent thrifting video, I believe it was, I picked this up on DVD at a pawn shop. Sold that off to get the Blu-ray. Still haven't opened or still haven't watched this yet, but it is on my list to watch soon. It's a crime action flick from the 70s starring Robert Blake. One-time director and writer, I should say. And I'm looking forward to checking this one out. I love 70s crime films, and especially if you throw in some action bits, man, I think this is going to be one I really love, despite its weird title that I think is so cool. I gotta admit, Electric Glide in Blue. I don't even know what it means, but it doesn't matter. Maybe after watching the film I'll know. Electric Glide in Blue. Next up, Aquaman. Aquaman, hair everywhere. Aquaman, this came into the store, and I was like, well, for $2 or whatever we had it priced at, $2.50, I bought this on the 4K, even though I don't have a 4K player. It does have the Blu-ray, so I figure if I ever upgrade, the PS5 is going to have a 4K, so I figure I'm going to have a 4K player eventually. It's inevitable. So picked up Aquaman in that format. I really enjoyed this film. What can I say? It was one of my favorite superhero films of 2018, I think it was, or 2019? No, it was 2018. One of my favorite superhero films in the last 5 years, I'll say. It was just a blast from start to finish. Really loved Aquaman. James Wan directed, by the way. That definitely has something to do with it. Alright, so these next two items my good buddy Eric sent me. So shout out to you, Eric. Thank you so much for sending these out to me, man. I've been enjoying one of them. I haven't cracked into one of them yet, and that is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. He sent me this, as well as the next thing I'm going to show. He sent me this because he thinks that I need to see it. He thinks I'll really enjoy it. So that means a lot to me. Thank you so much for sending this out. This is the BBC version of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy from the late 70s, I want to say. And I'm looking forward to watching this. I've seen the American film, or the I guess it was a British film. I don't exactly know. But the one with Mos Def and guy from the Hobbit, Martin Freeman. And I liked it. I thought it was good. Some great ideas and visuals. This one is longer. It's a miniseries, so it's probably going to delve into more of what the book has in it in terms of detail. Looking forward to checking it out. It'll be fun. Next up was Batman the Animated Series. Now this I have been working my way through. Thank you so much, Eric. This is such a great set because it has the entire Batman animated show that started in '92, which I grew up with, which I loved. One of the only superhero things I really loved growing up, I gotta admit. That and like the Captain America early 90s movie by Albert Pyun. Anyway, I was a stupid kid. This also has the Mr. Freeze movie, I think Sub-Zero it's called, and it has Mask of Phantasm, which is fantastic, no pun intended. I love that it has both movies and the entire animated series. This series is incredible. It holds up remarkably well. One of the best TV shows ever, period. Animated or not. One of my favorites, at least. I love Batman the Animated Series. Next up is Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. I sold my DVD, my Archive Collection DVD, to fund this Blu-ray months back, and very excited to watch this. I still haven't. I've heard great things about this little late 70s TV movie. I want to say 77 or so. This was remade by Guillermo del Toro, not directed by del Toro, but produced by. And it was lackluster. I wasn't too impressed with it, so I'm looking forward to the 70s version. I've heard it's great. Next up is Pat Labor, or Pat Labor, or however you'd like to pronounce it. My buddy let me know that this was on sale. I think it was $20 or no more than $25. I owned a bunch of the Pat Labor stuff already, like the 3 films, 2 of which were on Blu-ray, 1 on DVD. I owned part of the TV series. So I sold them all to fund this, and I broke basically even. Maybe I paid $1 for this or something like this. So that was incredible for me. This is every Pat Labor thing that's ever existed. So you have the OVA, the movies, you have the television series, all in one concise, beautifully done package here. Oh my god, by Made in Japan. This is just glorious. I can't wait to crack this open. It's got 47 episodes, the OVAs, and 3 movies on 15 discs, over 2,000 minutes of Pat Labor goodness. I'll never need anything else Pat Labor because they don't exist. This is everything Pat Labor in one package. Ah, I love this shit. 80s anime, you guys know, is my shit. Hell yeah. These next 2 I've had for a couple months as well. I sold the DVDs of these to pick up ATM, which is a little bottle horror film that takes place in an ATM that I haven't yet seen. It takes place on Christmas Eve, I think. And so, very cool. ATM. Tokyo Godfathers, another one that takes place around Christmas time or Christmas Eve. I picked up both of these around Christmas time, but still hadn't shown them off for whatever reason, so I'm finally doing that now. This is an anime by Satoshi Kon, who directed Pafekuto Baru, Perfect Blue, also Paprika, the 2 fantastic animes. Perfect Blue, one of the best horror animes ever made. Tokyo Godfathers is his Christmas film, which is an old story that's retold in his style. Can't wait to check this out. Probably next Christmas, to be quite honest. I tried this last Christmas, but didn't quite get to it. Tokyo Godfathers. These next 2 I picked up at a pawn shop a couple weeks ago. I wasn't able to get it on camera, but that is Offspring. This is part of the Ghost House Underground film collection. This one actually sounds pretty good. A lot of these are hit or miss, but this is based on the Jack Ketchum book, Offspring. I don't know, it follows like these feral humans who are, that still live in like a hunter-gatherer sort of tribe, and they're, I don't know, wreaking havoc on a certain family. I don't exactly know much about it, but it sounds cool, sounds like something I'd be interested in, and directed by Andrew Vanden Houten, so I've never heard of him. But Jack Ketchum, the guy who wrote the book, actually wrote the script, so that's always a good sign. Well, sometimes a good sign. The Offspring. Next up, this one was a total blind buy. I didn't know this film existed, and I'm really excited to sit down and give this little low-budget independent sci-fi horror flick a chance. That is Flora. Now, I've not heard many great things about this, but it seems like something I'd like. It follows a group of botanists in the late 20s that unearth some sort of deadly organism in this forest. I guess that they're surveying, they're exploring. So that sounds really cool to me. I think my mind is going to be making it better than it actually is. I'm all down for some biological sort of catastrophes in my films, especially organisms, biological organisms that could, or botanical organisms that could turn into monsters. I like these ideas, so let's hope Flora delivers. Alright, and that does it for my movies. I have a couple books here, and that'll round out this video. So I had to pick these up. I didn't know these existed, and I just had to pick them up when they came into the store. They were $1.50 each, and they're in really good condition. Superman Aliens. Wow. Okay. Superman and Aliens. I don't know what else to say. Are these good? Are they terrible? Are they awesome? I don't see how they could be very bad. I like the artwork in them. I'm sure the stories are lackluster, but it's Superman and aliens. Superman and aliens. You gotta understand, I'm new to the comic book world. I'm not ready for shit like this. So that is Superman Aliens, and of course, the companion piece that I picked up at the same time for like $1.50 as well. Batman vs. Predator, the collected edition. I think this is still volume... Is this the whole thing? I don't even know. Is this the whole story? You guys would know better than I would. Some of you, I'm sure. But again, Batman vs. Predator? Yeah. Like, absolutely. I'm all for these crossover ideas. Why aren't these crossover ideas in film more? Who wouldn't go see Batman vs. Predator or Superman vs. Aliens? Tell me who would not to go to see those movies. Any fans of cinema that are in a certain age range would go to those movies. Anyway, that's my tirade. Batman vs. Predator. Incredible to have this stuff. I think it's so cool. I just want to thank you for checking out my latest What's in the Bag, which is sort of my movie collection update video. I'd love to know what you guys have picked up over the last couple months, so feel free to leave that down in the comments below, and as usual, we could get a little discussion rolling. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel and want to see more videos like it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, as well as the little bell for notifications. You see what I did there? Anyway, guys, I will see you next time. Bored Cyborg